Yes! I probably should do a better way of intro, but yes! I wanted to do another one for Spencer Reid. Why? There's a couple of ones I wanted to talk more with some people, and literally, I'm not probably saying, I am going to say the one that I did say, which I think is interesting, because I like the idea of like two people side by side doing like mind games, and because Spencer Reid is a guy who is literally, the character is meant to be a person who can understand people, and I think it's like, he's one of those things where it's like, he's intellect. Do I say like, oh, I represent him? No, I am not that smart, and I have repeatedly say I am a dumbass. That is a fact. But do I like the sort of like, do I like certain characters that have that sort of intellect? Yes. So when he does this, I think they say multiple times he has multiple PhDs. I think one of the earliest ones is, I think in episode 1, he has like a 9 PhDs. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if it's 9 or 7, but that's not the point. But the one where I like, which is my favorite episode, which again, these are more focuses on the crimes, except the ones for his one, because his one, there isn't a crime, they're just trying to bring in assassins, which is probably a good thing. All of that is sort of dealing with this sort of like cunning nature, but most of it is, yes, the crime's on the forefront. It is a show about trying to solve crimes. But when I mean focus, is some of the main development for it is for them. With Rossi's, this is one of the ones that, sorry about that, with Rossi's, that is one where it's like, oh, I've dealt with this for a while, this is something that's important to me, and it is something that I think, like, that is one case that's been in his head for when it originally happened. For Derek, it does deal with, like, his thing in the past where he and the sort of local detective sort of blamed and butt heads and dealt with his sort of trauma that he had from his mentor figure. And with Spencer Reid, it deals with him trying to outthink a person who is trying to manipulate the situation, which is interesting. So the other two have emotional. This is more, how do I deal with it intellectually? And because I talked to this with someone else, interesting, I'm going to deal with one that deals with him on an emotional level, which is elephant's memory, which you deal with another person talking about a certain incident that led a dramatic scar, which is him getting bullied and being hung on a goal. American football goals. I'm British. But that episode, which is the idea, and the idea that I hate, because I was bullied, debatably, I made it go from 0 to 100 and I kind of didn't help the situation. I made it worse. And legitimately, I'm surprised nothing came of it. Which is, oh, boys will be boys. And his line of like, oh, boys will be boys. Yeah, and he's dealing with an 8. And it's like, that sort of level of like, sometimes you do need to have conversations. Sometimes there is an emotional level. You can't just be, oh, boys will be boys. That's fine. It's like, no, this is important. These people, and when you see like the recording of it, it's like, did no one deal with it? And the figure being like, oh, we didn't want to get the parents involved. Okay, so that's the priority. Great. And I wanted to bring it up because 1, I talked about it, and 2, I don't like bullying, and this is just so, it's just interesting to think about. It's and again, the last one that I dealt with Spencer Reid, and I might do another one with Derek Morgan, because there's 2 that I do want to talk about. Again, I'm doing the criminal, like, but anyway, I do think it's really interesting though.